There's a lot of things that really get under my skin when it comes to the Dragon Ball fandom on the internet. And I'm not speaking about necessarily my audience, because I know the vast majority of people who are subscribed to this channel are kind of understanding of what I'm trying to do here and are pretty damn smart. And I'm very happy to have that audience subscribed here to Geekdom 101. That's most of them. I can't say all of them though, because not all of them interact and not all of them leave comments, so I don't know what's really out there. There's no way to really gauge it. But in the overall fandom, the overall Dragon Ball fandom, one of the things that really gets under my skin is when I see the constant willful ignorance in the Dragon Ball fandom, because all I want to do is make people better fans, make them love Dragon Ball more despite its flaws, and help them understand the more intricate parts of the series. So I'm just letting you know that now before I turn this video into a rant video, which it will become. And I know a lot of you guys like it when I rant, and I will give you rants once in a while. I try to be very positive, but sometimes things just get under my skin, like willful ignorance. Now you're probably, or some of you are probably wondering, okay, well, what do you mean by willful ignorance? Willful ignorance in the Dragon Ball fandom is when you present somebody with evidence, with facts about something, or with a logical conclusion about something, and they refuse to accept it for illogical reasons. Now, let me give you some examples. Recently, I did a video explaining the Dragon Ball Super manga having a plot hole where Bulma says that time passes equally in the future and in the present. And I thoroughly explained in the video that it doesn't correlate to the original established time travel rules in Dragon Ball Z, because when Trunks went back to the future the first time, he waited at the very most a year or so and then went back. He did not wait 3 years, and this is actually explicitly stated in the Dragon Ball manga. It's not just Bulma saying, oh, it takes 8 months to charge time machine. There's actually a panel, which I have in the comment section of that video, that explains pretty much what I've been saying. But rather than just accept it, rather than just understand, they have to fight with you. In the manga, Trunks was born in age 766. He told Goku he was 17 when he went back the first time. When he saw Cell's time machine, he saw that it was 3 years after he came back the first time, which was age 788. That's 3 years after the age he went back, right, in his timeline? So as a result of that age being said, there is no possible way that Trunks waited 3 years in the future to go back, because then it would have been age 790 or 791. This correlates with what Bulma said about it taking 8 months to charge the time machine. So I make this video. I didn't put that manga panel in there. I probably should have. And I see in the comment section people arguing with me, telling me that I'm wrong, even though in the manga it says otherwise, and it correlates exactly to what I'm saying. And it just bugged me, because you're sitting there telling me that I'm wrong, and yet you're not even doing your own research to really tell me that I'm wrong. You're just thinking shit and just spewing it. And that's a common thing that we see time and time again. Again, that's willful ignorance. Rather than actually sitting there and saying, you know, let me look into this before I respond. No, you just have to open your mouth, because some people just get off on proving you wrong. And then when they look bad, when they are proven wrong, they either turtle up and get defensive, or they still fight with you using illogical arguments. And it's irritating to me. I have never once actually claimed to know everything about Dragon Ball. I learn new stuff every freaking month, every day. Well, not every day, but you know, I learn stuff pretty damn frequently about this series. And I think I know what I'm talking about to a high degree, I would say. But I can't sit here and say I know everything, because I'm always learning new things. Do you know why? Because I have what's called humility. I'm able to sit there and say, wow, I didn't know that. That's good to know. But people on the internet, I know it's not just Dragon Ball fandom, but people on the internet just cannot accept the fact that they don't know everything. They can't sit there and learn from someone else. They can't sit there and accept reality because it doesn't correlate with their fiction in their head. And really, that's a bunch of bullshit. I mean, I talked about it years ago about how there are people online that have small dicks and big egos, and it's just constant. Another example, did you know that there's people out there who still believe that Super Saiyan God is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue? Can you believe that I'm still seeing this 2 motherfucking years after Super started? Can you believe that even though the overwhelming evidence in the series that Super Saiyan Blue is stronger is completely ignored because some jackoff made a meme stacked 6 feet high with bullshit and people bought it and regurgitate it because they don't have time to go look it up for themselves or do any kind of homework, even though in the series it's explicitly stated that Super Saiyan Blue is a power beyond God by the narrator. The narrator is not going to lie to you. And that's just one example. But it doesn't matter what the series tells you. It doesn't matter what people like myself tell you, or Herms, or Kanzenshu, or people who are extremely well versed in Dragon Ball knowledge. Because in your mind, things have to be the way you want it because your penis is really fucking tiny and you can't accept the fact that you're wrong. Just accept the fact that you're wrong. That's all I ask. Accept it. Say, you know what? I was wrong. Now I learned more. I'm a better fan. And most people are actually like that. But it seems like in the Dragon Ball fandom, the ones that are ignorant and the ones that show willful ignorance are extremely vocal, and it's just kind of irritating. Then you've got the people who are still saying that Toriyama changed Gohan from being the main character because he got death threats from the fans, which is a bullshit fucking story that started in the 90s. People still believe that. Then you've got people saying that Mr. Popo is Blue and Kai when that was only in the Toonzai version, not the uncut one. People just regurgitate shit without actually trying to watch Kai, reading up on the history of the series, and figuring it out on their own. How come other people can do that and not them? Then the ones that really get under my skin. Let me talk about the ones that really piss me off. Because it's not even about me now. Fuck me. Because this is not something about don't question geekdom. Because I don't care if you question me. But if you're going to question me, you better come with a strong argument. Ask Quinn. Ask Quaman. If you are going to question me about Dragon Ball, I really want to hear your argument. And you better have some evidence. Because otherwise, you're going to come off looking stupid. But also, I don't have time to debate with other people on the internet about this. I just don't have that time. Another one that I love is when they say that, you know, Bruce Faulconer's the reason Dragon Ball Z was popular. That's also a bunch of bullshit, which I've debunked numerous times on this channel. But you've always got new subscribers showing up, not going back and watching the old content, which really they should do. And they ask these questions. And I don't blame people for asking questions, but to make a blanket statement like that is completely incorrect. It's false. So it's not about me. The ones that really get under my skin are the ones that actually have the audacity to question people like Herms and Julian and, you know, Lance, Myster Fusion. This is the one that gets under my skin because one of the issues I had early when I did my channel is that I was pronouncing the word Saiyan as Cyan, okay? Now, I did a whole video about it, and ever since then, I got attacked ruthlessly in the comment section because I say Cyan, but the dub says Saiyan. Well, here's the problem with that. And there's people who actually, again, they have to be mental midgets here, who actually think that I'm this fucking pronunciation fucking obsessive whore, when I'm really not. I was attacked for my pronunciation first, okay? You can't say Saiyan, Kuridin, Sufurujin. You can't say Japanese terms Makanko Sapo without some dick-headed fucking dubby calling you a weeb or somebody saying you're wrong. Here's the problem, honey pie. The problem is that people who speak fluent Japanese, we're talking about people like Herms, we're talking about people like Julian from Kanzenshu, they pronounce it Cyan. So who am I gonna trust? Who should I trust? A fucking kid on the internet who watched it on Cartoon Network and played Budokai 2 and is pretending to be a fucking expert, or somebody who actually studied abroad and went to Japan? You mean to tell me that some fat, pimply-faced kid from Nebraska knows more Japanese than fucking Julian, who went to Japan and has a Japanese wife and his children are part Japanese? Get your motherfucking head out of your ass, bro. Learn your motherfucking... Some of these people are like struggling to pass fucking algebra class and English class. And you got dudes who are not only fluent in Japanese, their families are now part Japanese, and you're arguing with them? How big must your ego be? And there's people out there who think I have a big ego when I'm just playing pro wrestling heel. I'm just goofing off. But the real me doesn't really have an ego. But there's people out there whose egos are so big that they actually think they know more about Japanese, the Japanese language, than somebody who like speaks it fluently, who's the translator. How the fuck can you question Herm's translations, bro, when he translates everything? Like how? Like you wouldn't even know what the Omni King was. The Omni King is a Herm's name. And he invented that name. It's Zeno, the king of everything. He shortened it to the Omni King. That's what we all call it now. And it's like, how can you really sit there and how can your dick be so small that you have to question people who know more than you? And that goes back to, again, willful ignorance. It's to the point where somebody will say something stupid. You'll send them a Geekdom video, right? A video that I did or Quamman or whoever, somebody who's credible. Then they'll question the video. So you send them the Konzenshu article. Then they'll question that. Then you send them the Herm's translation. Then they'll question that. So you've got all this evidence stacked up against you, but because your penis is microscopic, you absolutely refuse to learn from it and just fight with your bullshit fucking headcanon that contradicts established facts. It's mind-boggling to me. I can't live in fantasy. I have to live in reality. I feel like I'm very grounded and I wish others were, and maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm trying to make everybody else be a little more real instead of living in fantasy worlds where Gogeta is more powerful than Vegito, Super Saiyan God is stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, and Bruce Faulconer is the savior of Dragon Ball. I can't live in fantasy worlds like that. I can't, alright? So I would just hope that people get this and don't get all defensive and crybaby-ish and understand where I'm coming from. And if it's a little kid, it's one thing, but I've seen a lot of grown-ass men showcase this kind of behavior. And the reality is, bro, it's just a damn cartoon. And if you're going to have a debate or an argument with somebody else about it, at least know what you're talking about. At least take more than 10 seconds of thought before saying something and do a little homework before you question somebody who is respected or somebody who's making a lot of good points. And sometimes if you bring good points, if you bring really solid evidence, you will change someone's mind. But questioning Herm's Japanese or questioning, stuff that's explicitly said in the series, like, you just look stupid.